We are live. And now.
We are. Way to count it down. We're all learning as we go here, the producer included.
We are live and now.
All right, guys. We are reporting to you live from the Livin the Right Life house. My name is Cameron Reese. This is Michael Seff right over here. Then we got our beautiful producer, Mr. Jesse, right behind me.
Did you just call Jesse beautiful?
I did.
He did.
The first thing on our podcast that you say.
Yes.
Okay. We're very secure men in this house.
Yes. Very much so.
All right.
Boom, boom, boom.
So we're learning as we go here. Basically, we were supposed to go live tonight with a couple of musicians, have some fun, and the girls got sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Mono.
just experiment. Mono. That is not Cody Kelly chiming in from the other side of the room because he's not here. He's supposed to be at the right 55 minutes ago. So anyway, I'm trying to find this on the page. How do I find this, Jesse?
So this is
we got to come up with a great
test
nickname
right now.
Right here, and then
Very dry.
click on it, and it'll open it up.
Where?
Just click the profile.
Oh, there we go.
He's trying real hard to figure it out right now. Hold on.
Oh, that's going to be hard to do if it's going to be that far behind.
You'll still be able to react to stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we need the comments. Yeah, just mute it because I don't want to listen to us.
Yeah, just mute
Yeah,
it.
turn
5
my-
seconds delay.
Did you just close caption it for the hearing impaired?
That does it automatically.
All
In
right.
that case.
So the good news is Michael Seff is watching, and Cameron Reese is watching.
Yeah.
Here, let's just do this to make it easier.
Well, for anybody who decides that they want to tune in, we're going to be launching a podcast soon. So you
Hey,
guys-
your closed captioning's got to spell my shit right, all right? Michael Seff, S-E-F-F.
SEF.
Well, hold on. Jesse just chimed in. So if Jesse's watching, I'm watching, and you're watching, it only says 2 people are watching.
Oh, crap. Which one of you guys backed out of it, huh?
I'm still on here.
I was having connection issues.
Oh, it was Jesse. He cheated.
My bad. My bad, guys.
Hate it when that happens.
Oh,
Anyway, we're going
now
to be
there's
launching a podcast, and it's called Music City Podcast. If you guys want to look it up and follow it before we go live for the first time on that one. This is just a practice run for us.
3. What did we decide we're naming this? 3 Riders, 1 Couch?
Yeah. 3 riders, 1 couch.
3 writers, 1 couch.
I
is gonna
voted for
be
3
our-
Riders, 1 Cup, but they shot that down.
Hit share on the post. It'll post it to your guys' page at least.
Is Cody the 4th person logged in?
No, I'm not.
Is there a 4th?
Who do we
Somebody's
got?
here. Somebody's joining us. Chime in.
Somebody's
Let us know who
here.
you are.
Our
Somebody
Instagram
jumped off. Somebody left.
Our Instagram handle is Music City Podcast. Just so everyone knows. That
Music
is
City
us.
Podcast,
All right,
everybody.
producer Jesse. Where do we go? Where do I go to share it?
Just go to the post and hit the share button right here at the bottom. Just go to the main page, scroll down to the live, and then you can hit share.
Okay, hold on.
And then just tag everybody, I guess.
Tag everybody.
I don't know what word, I guess.
Oh, we got a 4th back.
There
Tyler
is-
Short, what up, dog?
There is a Music City
Mr.
Podcast
Bucking
already.
Bulls and Punching Fools. He logged off.
Yeah, mine. I have it right here.
Oh!
What'd he do?
But then theirs isn't Music City Podcast.
It's music underscore city underscore
pod.
podcast.
Yeah, mine is Music City Podcast, all one word. So we're going to have to change the name of that because I have everything. I even have the email for it.
Tyler's still with us. He said, I need to get a tan. Let me get my legs out of this.
All right, so then come up with other names for the Music City Podcast, and somebody else has a Music City Podcast.
I'm
already.
telling you, 3 Riders, 1 Cup.
That's the fuck around one. I'm okay with that, but I want the serious one.
Tyler Short, ask us some questions, buddy. Other than where do I go for my tanning expertise?
That would be Jewel Tanning in Antioch.
Fuck you, I go to Planet Fitness. There's times where I only
be
go to
careful
Planet
with Planet Fitness. A
Suntan
motherfucker just
City.
died on the tanning bed, and they were there for like 3 days before they
Yeah,
found him.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's yeah.
No, they had no idea.
I mean,
which tells you exactly how much fucking Planet Fitness cleans their shit.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I told
He
you.
was
So
dead
I
in a tanning bed for 3 days and nobody knew.
So Tyler, what's going on here is we got a bunch of new equipment. Cameron went buck crazy and spent a bunch of shit at Guitar Center, and we've been talking about doing podcasts and lives and all that, and we don't have a fucking clue what we are doing. So Jesse Johnson came over, and he just took on his third non-paying job. And we are going to start doing our podcasts and our lives. I cooked you a fucking cheese omelet, bro. 3 eggs. And you had Cody's sausage. So anyway, we're just kind of like testing out the equipment and seeing how this all works. But eventually we're going to have a music podcast. We're going to bring on guests. I don't know. We'll have to check with the FCC and see what the ratings are to see if you're allowed on here, Tyler. It'll have to be NC-17 or something like that, or NR-17. What's the rating?
NC-17.
NC-17. I was right.
PG-13.
Okay. So, since my son's not logged on here yet, let's just talk about. Did I tell you about his experience going to the movies with his girlfriend?
Ooh, no. Did someone get blown at the movies?
Easy.
Cut a hole in the bottom of the popcorn.
So Mikey he'll be 17 next month, and I think somewhere that maybe I have making me sign a waiver like bull riding. You signed that waiver when you were here the last time there, Tyler, remember? But anyway, so Mikey's 17, and he teases me because I have nothing in common with women my own age. Let's just face it. I mean, most women my age are like tucking in the kids or grandkids. And dinner and all that. I'm like, yo, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to work. I'm going to play music in front of beautiful women and blah, blah, blah. So I tend to date younger women. And I don't mean like 21, except for when I was 40. So Mikey teases me about that. So I think that he's got this problem where he dates older. So he broke up with his 8th grade girlfriend.
He likes the Cougars.
And Jen was pretty excited, my ex-wife. And she's like, oh my God, he broke up with her. She, whatever. Next day, she's like, well, be careful what you fucking wish for. Do you know why he broke up with her? He's dating a senior. He was like coming out of 8th grade. Well, now his girlfriend's 20. She's absolutely a sweetheart. I love her to death. Been spending time. But they go to see Smile 2 a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Mikey couldn't get in. So that's the joke around the house. Like, so we're all gonna go to movies as a family, and me and her are gonna go see Smile, and he's gonna take my daughter to see Wicked or something. So
wow.
But
also,
anyway,
if anybody has seen Wicked, let me know if it's any good.
it is absolutely fabulous. I did get my man card back when I left. There's the Ariana Grande factor.
I mean,
because she's so hot.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing you have to focus on, and not so much the musical side of things.
I'm going to take a risk on losing my man card by admitting that I absolutely love musicals and show tunes.
Bro, I mean, I do have...
Phantom of the Opera, one of my all-time favorites. Andrew Lloyd Webber, if you're listening. I love you, bro.
Have you seen...
There are some that are
Have you seen my tattoo?
Yeah.
So my tattoo...
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
What about it?
The answer's in the mirror. That's backwards. That's self-explanatory. What people don't understand is those are steel magnolias. Now, a steel magnolia...
Yeah.
Aside from being my favorite movie of all time.
It's a great play.
Great movie.
Yeah.
You can take my man card.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh, dude.
But
I bawled my eyes out watching Steel Magnolia.
And I laughed my ass off.
Oh, dude, I know.
Bawled your eyes
It's one
off.
of those
Laughed. It's the most amazing cast ever.
Yes.
But anyway, so
Before
yeah,
your time.
that's what my tattoo is about. I got it in Vegas. I was 37 when I got my first tattoo, and I was afraid to tell my mom. The guitar player had to tell my mom.
The guitar player.
And he goes, "Well, Kathy, there's a flower for you." And she went from being pissed, like, "Oh," so I was off the hook. 37 years old, I was going to have to wear sleeves the rest of my life at the dinner table because I was afraid of my mom. So there's a confession for you. It wasn't the Magnolias that I lost my man card or loving Steel Magnolias. It was that I was afraid of my mom at 37.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm 33, and my mom scares the shit out of me. She has learned the art of flip-flop foo.
Flip flop foo.
Flip flop foo. Like she can curve a flip flop around corners like the fucking movie. Dude, I can say
Like the
something.
Matrix.
And you just throw it and you say, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop," and it's a whack out of nowhere. It hits you, dude. I'm telling you. Like if I piss her off back in Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure she could hit me in Nashville.
Oh man. So what's the worst ass beating you ever got as a kid?
I was pretty good. I really never had anything super bad.
So my older
My ass
cousin,
beatings came at home. Yours probably came on the playground.
No. I stood my ground. Those bullies, they had it coming.
I was a new kid at 13 different schools.
I'll do
daggone.
it.
Yeah, I spent the school I graduated from. I spent the 3rd, 4th, and 5th day suspended. So
I got suspended for the last day of school once. That was fun.
I got the shit kicked out of me in 8th grade from the last day of school. Now, in my
Mine was
defense,
8th grade too.
I was 13, and
No,
this fucking
7th
guy
grade.
drove
7th.
to the fight. 8th grade, drove to the fight. Stacy Shepard, never forget that. He whooped the shit out of me in a bowling alley parking lot in Kentucky. And I got one great punch, and I like backhanded him. And I was so shocked that I landed it and bloodied his nose. I was like, and I froze. I should have just pounced on him like Christmas Story. But I couldn't. I was just like, oh. And then he was back to whooping my ass again. But I did blow my bloody nose in his hat and threw it at him and took off running. So, but I was 13, man. He drove to the fight. How many times you got to fail to drive to a fight in middle
He
school?
was ready.
Yeah. So,
It is Kentucky though.
I mean, he could literally drink at graduation.
Damn.
So, yeah. The worst ass whipping I ever got. That didn't come from my mom.
You can turn that back towards you, son.
You ain't even on it yet. Say hi to Cody.
What's
What was the worst ass whooping you ever got?
by a parent or
Yes.
actually it
Both.
wasn't my parent, it was my grandma. My older cousin convinced me that inside a spray paint can is a marble that has really pretty colors.
It is.
No, it's a steel ball bearing.
Yeah.
And I took a hatchet to it, and I blew it up. A full spray paint can. Right next to a white Cadillac.
Oh.
Just happened to be a black spray paint can, and right on that white Cadillac is a perfect black spot, except for a perfect outline of me.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Wow.
What's the worst thing you did as a kid, Cameron?
Worst thing I did.
It couldn't have been bad.
No, I was a pretty good kid. The worst thing that I did in terms of like what?
Hi, Casey. I don't know. What was the worst thing you did as a kid, like growing up? Like, what's the most scared you've ever been for your parents to find out something? I mean, we could call them about your recent activities.
Hey, you shut up. No, probably. So I was a fucking idiot, and I was running late for school one time, and it's Wisconsin, so it's real icy and not great. And we have
This was June.
No, this was
Yeah, this isn't June.
January, February, something like that. And our driveway goes down, and so I'm in a rush for school, trying to get there on time, and I get in my car, I start going, and I go down the driveway, and I get down the slope, and I get like halfway across the driveway before we hit the road, and I hit my brakes, nothing. There was nothing, and I just keep going. I keep going, and there's a ditch on the other side of the road, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna run into this ditch right now. And so I keep sliding, I hit the road, the tires grab, and it like squawks the tires, and I end up high centered on that ditch with the back tire in the air right there. And I had to run up the driveway and tell my parents, hey, my car is like about to fall in the ditch. If we could like get somebody over here to pull it back on the road, that would be awesome. And we had some great neighbors, Wally Weeza, and he came over and he hooked chains up to it.
Hold on a
like
second.
that.
What was your neighbor's name?
Wally Weeza. Wally Weeza.
Okay.
Yep.
What was his middle name?
I have no idea.
His initials could have been like WWW.
Yeah.
Wally Weezer. So Wally Weezer
Weezer
pulled you out.
Yeah, he came over and he pulled us out, and I was too scared to be in it in case it let go, so I wasn't in the car. And he pulled it out. Car's in neutral. It got back up. It went across the road and took out our mailbox.
You didn't put the car in park.
No, it was in neutral, and it just kept going.
That's the worst thing you ever did?
Probably.
Wow. Now, I
Well,
want to
worst
know.
thing I got caught.
What I want
I
to
don't care,
know.
caught or uncaught.
Jesse, what I want to know is how your stupid ass closed captioning can spell Wally Weezer correctly and can't spell Seth. Oh, geez, old Pete's. So, Casey, if you're still with us, we are just went out and got a bunch of equipment. When I say we, I mean him. Can't hide money.
Whatever.
And so we're actually going to launch a podcast next month. So we're just kind of screwing around, having some fun. It's a cold day in Nashville, as you can tell by my attire.
You're Seth now, by the way. I just
Seth,
saw the
it's
closed
S-E-T-H.
captioning.
So anyway, what are some questions that you might have? What would be some content you would like to see on a music podcast here in Nashville?
Also, guests.
And
Any
guests.
guests
Who would
that
you like to see? Between the three of us, we know a lot of people here in Nashville. I mean, I can't get Garth Brooks on here.
He's busy fighting his court case anyway.
I was gonna say never mind. I might want to play there. I'm gonna say this. I love good comedy and humor, and I will make fun of anybody. But I'm a huge Garth Brooks fan, and I do believe innocent until
Free
proven
Garth
guilty.
Brooks. Free Garth Brooks.
So
Unless he's found guilty, then fuck that guy.
yeah,
I just want to know where the bodies are at.
that's funny. All right, we got a fifth person that's joined us here. But yeah, shoot over some questions. Ask us what you want to know. In the meantime, we're just talking about funny stories that happen in our house
About
and our
him?
careers. Cameron, what made you make the move?
I'll explain it later.
What
I mean,
you were playing music back in Wisconsin?
yeah. So I actually got really lucky.
Yeah, we know. Recently,
Multiple times.
Hey, we're live right now. All right.
She could be watching.
I love how you said she could be watching instead of they could be watching. Yeah.
Also, yeah, they could be watching, but he knew who I meant.
Wow. I can't believe you said that. All right.
So
anyway,
what brought you? What made you make the move?
So I was working in a factory before I moved here and playing music just whenever I can and doing all of that fun stuff. And then a good friend of our family, Brent Johnson, came up and he was hanging out in our house and we did what musicians do, pulled out a guitar, started playing, and he looked at me and he was like, have you ever thought about moving to Nashville? And I went, I have. I mean, yeah. Ever since I knew what Nashville was, I thought about moving, and just never did it. And he was like, "Well, if you decide that you want to move to Nashville, you can stay with us for a while until you find a different place to go." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
So that's who we have to blame for now that we have the kid.
Yeah.
So Brent's my former drummer, and that's how
Yeah.
we met.
Way to go.
And then-
You moved in with us, and then he had to fire Brent because you were irritating as shit. He's like, I can't.
I did not fire Brent. Brent moved on to bigger and better things.
Well, so it didn't even necessarily stop there because I had a good job at the time when he said that. I had a really good job. I was getting paid really well. I was only working 2 days a week. It was a weekend shift. And I was working 2 days a week, getting paid for 40 hours, and I was getting paid a good amount of money base. And then he had come over and said that, and then shortly after that, they made me go to 5 days a week, and then they dropped my hourly pay, and then they gave me more responsibility, and they did this and that. I'm like, all right, well, you guys aren't helping me out here. I'm going to go, and I'm going to leave. And so for my birthday trip, my 21st birthday trip, I came down here, and I spent a week here, and I decided that it was something that I wanted to do, and I was here within a month from there, and that's a long story.
I've never looked at you this long from this angle. Do you shave that little hole in your beard in?
Which one?
That little... Look like you should be in...
No, he's 21. He still is a fucking baby.
Look at the side. Turn your head to the side and look at Cody.
You're talking about the bare spot?
Yeah.
Ah.
No, I
Don't tell me
sugar.
some fucking terrible story about how you got abused and burned as a child or something.
Oh
You
yeah,
feel guilty.
I dropped a whole. No, nothing happened.
He's a kid. That's what
I feel like that part of Joe Dirt when he's like, "Oh my God, you got some real redneck shit going on in her white trash." You actually grow it in that way. So,
not
no,
quite.
you're a handsome fella. For anybody who's watching, Cameron, I'm secure enough to say is a very good looking young man.
I appreciate that.
All right. So you're here. How do you like living in the Right Life house?
The Right Life House is awesome. I got 2 writers who are way better than me, living with me, bragging about their rights all the time, and I have to just be jealous until I can finally get involved in these rights.
Full disclosure, you have been invited.
No, not as a writer.
We have
I've walked through when you have writers
we
here.
have
and you're
said
like,
that you can write with us anytime you want. I mean, who do you want? Who do you want more than me and Cody?
I've tried to write with both of you guys.
You have
and
not.
guys have never. I've said, when are you available?
We'll book it right now, like right here in front of the 5. Oh, damn, we're down to 3 people. The 3
down to
people
me
that are
and you.
watching. When do you want to write?
Jesse
We'll get the
is what
calendars
we're down
out.
to.
Get the calendars out.
My sister's on here.
Hi, Jesse's sister, Samantha.
So, how many people are you seeing on there? Because I see 3.
It says 5 on mine.
5 on your end.
Mine's been swapping between 5 and 3.
Samantha, give me one sentence to describe Jesse as a child.
As a child too.
Maybe brat or something.
It's gonna be a short sentence, but anyway, so you like living in the Right Life house? We will schedule a right now. We'll get our calendars out. We've asked you.
Let's do it.
I mean, name a date, and I'll make sure I'm clear.
I mean, technically, you have written with Wyatt Durrett and D. Vincent before you wrote with me.
That is true.
That's pretty
mean,
impressive. I mean, those
yeah.
are 17 number ones for Wyatt, and 2
Yeah.
and a song of the year for D. And
It would have
Should
been
have been
awesome
2
if
songs
we
of the
finished
year,
something
but
though.
hey, who's counting?
now, is it really a right if they were too drunk to remember?
Yes.
Okay.
At least on my resume.
I mean-
they don't have to count it, but I am.
Everything that was ever written at the Key West Songwriters Festival. I mean,
That is also a very good
That's that.
point.
Alexa.
she finally joined.
Alexa is watching.
She finally joined.
The questions are about to get good.
Oh boy. I don't know if I'm ready.
Addison, Madeline, and Alexa went shopping today, and I begged them not to corrupt poor little Addison.
Too late.
Somebody had
It's
to
too late.
chaperone. She said, "Yo," that was her.
She goes to Belmont. She's already corrupted.
Well, no, I do believe Addison was the one chaperoning that trip.
Yeah, probably.
She probably was.
Probably.
Cody,
What's
what
up?
made you make the move? You had a family member fire you or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who got it? The fuck she did. No, she didn't.
No.
Yeah, right.
They said,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Addison's like, things are going good for that jelly roll guy. I'll get one on my face.
Got one of these teardrop things under my eye. I don't know what it means, but they look really cool. No, I moved to Nashville by kind of
Is that God?
pretty much like honestly, like my story is one of those of I didn't have a choice. Like when it came down to it, every time I tried to leave music, the thing that I tried to leave music for ended, and music was there. Like I mean, starting out when I was a kid, Brian White is a country artist from the 90s who's one of my heroes. Went to go see him at my hometown fair, and his drummer brought me up on stage. I got to play the drums. Told my mom right then and there I was going to be a professional drummer. Never fought me on it. She bought me a drum set. It did everything. Did everything that I wanted to do, and then got into high school, and then gave up on trying to be a professional drummer and joined the Army. Did the Army route, did all that. Picked up the guitar in the Army. Ended up leaving the Army, but then learned how to play the guitar and started writing. And then went back to my hometown and started working, and then ended up working with family. And then they basically said, "Hey, you're too good to be here. You need to go. You need to go down to Nashville," and sent me down to Nashville. And so, like every time I tried to quit music was always right there. I mean, in my life, I tried.
Couldn't run from it.
I think that's the thing that people don't understand. Like it's in you. there's nothing you can do about it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
it doesn't go away. When you're a creative, you're not happy unless you're doing this or something along that. Even when I was at home being domesticated and left Nashville, I was entrenched in my son's baseball. I was coaching him, and that was my distraction. I was all in on it, probably more intense than I should have been.
You were that dad?
Well, I mean, first of all, they abused their basketball coaches, and the parents loved that they had discipline on the baseball field. So I'm just saying. Now, Mikey was 4 playing t-ball. His first game, he comes off the field, and the coach goes to Jen, my ex-wife, and says, one word for that kid: intense. Like, Mikey was the kid that would, like, go kick the kid who was playing in the dirt. Like, yeah, like, pay attention, you know. He'd be playing third base, and he'd run out to right field and get the ball that the other kid's, like, ignoring. But
Why are you putting me on camera?
But
I'm not.
Oh,
He is.
I know it is. I can see it.
Yeah.
Well, I can cut any time.
So
It's facing him.
so you asked both of us what pushed us to Nashville. Obviously, you've been here and there and back and forth a whole bunch. What initially brought you here?
I was
what brought
selling
you back?
I was selling real estate in Kentucky, and the market crashed in '08. And ironically, the 2 best years I ever had in real estate was '09 and 2010. Or '08 and '09. 2010 was disastrous. I represented 3 builders. They all went out of business. I took a $100,000 pay cut in 2010 in the middle of a divorce. Do you know what child support's based on?
How much you made the previous year?
The 2 previous years.
Yeah.
My child support was more than I made in some months. And, I was just miserable. And I was like, you know what? The only time I'm happy is when I'm on stage. So I moved here to write, to be a full, just a writer. And my first job here was at Buckle, and I needed 40% off. Unfortunately, I needed 40% off my fat ass to fit in their clothes. But I started playing downtown a little bit, and then you know what happens is people go, oh my God, you're great. You should come to Florida. You should come to this. Well, I had worked on a gig in Vegas for 2 years. And it wasn't until the booking guy was incredibly honest with me that I got the gig. And he basically said, Michael, I want you to watch the video that you sent me and tell me what on that stage, other than you, that is even remote, bless you, Cody, is even remotely appealing to a bachelorette party from California. And I was like, man, well, this guy played for this band. He's like, I don't care. He goes, sex sells out here. He goes, people listen with their eyes.
Yeah. I've heard that a ton.
And he said, you're in Nashville now. Put together a band that is appealing and fun, and I'll book you. He said, you're the most resilient person I've ever said. He said, you call me every 2 weeks for 2 years. I'll give you a shot. And I put together the best looking band in Nashville, on maybe the world. I had Paul Sanders on bass. He's now with Shenandoah. Bronze James looked like an Abercrombie model. Dean Sizemore was my Nikki Sixx alternative guy. Alan Gamble on drums. It was like a Baskin Robbins for women on stage. You want the chunky dunk, the chunky monkey. I was the fat kid on stage, and then I had all the pretty boys around me. But our draw, I mean, we packed it in Vegas, California, everywhere we went, and we were just so much fun. And but anyway, I made the full-time move here because it was the only thing that made me happy. And I got to see the world, made a lot of mistakes. I got to do a lot of things that I wasn't talented enough to do. That's the truth. I was a mediocre singer on my best day, pitchy as hell, didn't have the image, but I was likable and I could write. Not as well as I think I can write today, but I could write. And there was something that was appealing to people. So, I would come back and people would ask me, like, how did you get these gigs? And I was like, I worked. People way more talented than me that couldn't get the gigs. They didn't want to
put in the work.
Yeah, pound the concrete, make the calls, do the things that are difficult in this business to get the breaks. And but anyway, I was here till 2014. I had a record deal, indie deal in the works, and that tragically fell through when the legend in the business that believed in me died in the middle of it. It's just a messed up story in itself. We'll tell that another time. But moved back to Kentucky, got in the bar business, and just wrecked my life. Made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of great friends. Vowed never to come back to Nashville. I was just going to be a normal, whatever normal is. And
so that's what drove you away, was losing the deal.
I lost my band because so I played all the Toby Keith bars nationwide, and they all went out of business. In it would have been July 14, somewhere in there. And so I was booked out a year and a half. So all my gigs fell through. So my band had to go to work. So I lost my band. Then I lost my record deal. And what else I lose in there in the middle of that? There's three things, just bam, bam, bam. I'm like, this has got to be a sign. I'm going back to Kentucky. And I think the hardest part about this business is being so close to it and not getting it.
Yeah.
If someone told me that, hey, you're going to play and write music the rest of your life, you're going to make a living, you're never going to be Luke Bryan, you're never going to be whatever, but this is your job, I'll be like, cool, I'm in. But it's that potential for something bigger and greater, and getting the rug pulled out from underneath you, and things that were out of your control. And it's just like, wow, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be home. But, you go home and nothing scratches that itch, I ended up in Indianapolis selling cars. And we won't talk about that story, but I ended up back in Nashville. And the reason I moved back wasn't even for me. It was with a significant other's, their family and their goals. And I was going to dabble back in songwriting, and you've met me. I'm not a dabbler.
Yeah. You commit.
Yeah, I'm all in. So, yeah, I will say that now, fast forward 14 years, I'm living the most balanced, best life that I've ever lived. I make less money than I probably ever have made. But I'm happier than I can ever remember in my adult life. So.
And I think that's the one thing that everybody eventually loses sight of when they move to Nashville is I'm making a living doing the thing that I love.
Yeah.
I think people forget that they're doing that.
Yeah, right. You guys are getting paid?
Yeah, there are paid gigs, Jesse. There are paid gigs in Nashville.
I remember me being here in 2020, right when COVID had hit. I had moved to town in January of 2020, and I was sitting down, and I had a Commodore Grill had just reopened, and Commodore has been so good to me. I mean, I love that place to death. And I was sitting there with Jerry Foster. And I will never forget what Jerry told me. He told me in June of 2020, and we were sitting down. It was on a Wednesday night at Debbie Champion's event that she hosts out there. And we were sitting there talking. And I was like, I'm going home, man. I don't have it in me anymore. Nothing's open. Like, I'm doing all of this. I gave my life up for this. And he looked at me, and he goes, last year, what was your dream? And I said, man, I just wanted to live in Nashville and do music. And he goes, well, what are you doing right now? And I said, I'm living in Nashville doing music. And he goes, well, welcome to what was impossible 1 year ago. And from that point on, it changed my entire outlook on everything that I do.
Damn, Cody, you're going to make me cry.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people don't understand.
We are living our dreams.
We wake up every day living a dream that we've had for no one knows how long we've had it. And there is some kid in the middle of Iowa right now that would kill to be what we are right now.
There are a lot of people who wish that they could do what we do every day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in Iowa that would kill to be anywhere else.
That is also very
Throwing
true.
that out there. I see my friend Sharon is on here. Sharon, how are you? One of the biggest music supporters or musician supporters in the world. But there's why am I doing the things I'm doing now? First of all, I'm getting older. I can't play forever. And I love the music business so much. And I made so many mistakes. People are like, what do I need to do? I'm like, listen, I don't know what you need to do. I can tell you what you don't need to do. You just look at what I did for the last 10 years and just take all that and don't do any of that shit. So I can help you not make mistakes. But the biggest advice people ask, I'm like, enjoy the ride. Quit looking at what's next. And I was laying by a pool in Vegas 80 days a year, and all I could focus on was what's next.
Yeah.
When's this coming out? When's that? Da, da, da. I'm surrounded by beautiful people. I'm living the dream, drinking for free, having fun. I can do whatever I wanted. And I'm so focused on the next thing that I wasn't enjoying the ride. And so live in the moment. And then the other thing is there are different levels of success. I would have friends working a dead-end job, miserable, being like, hey, man, you think you'll ever make it? And at first I'm like, well, we'll see, you know. But then when you really thinking about it, I am playing music for a living. And when I've got this second chance to be here, I will never take this for granted again. There is nobody on Broadway or at a gig in general that smiles as much as I do when I'm playing. Until some asshole says something smart in the crowd, and, you know, gotta get on them. But, you
For
know,
those of you who have never seen Michael Seff live, he says a lot of stuff that most people wouldn't dream of saying on stage.
it's fun. You better have thick skin and a sense of humor if you come to my show.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you don't have to have thick skin. Just don't dish it out. If you dish it out, you better take it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but there's old Addison. There's our golden girl.
Oh, did she join?
Yep,
Finally?
Addison Malik's on here. She's supposed to be coming over here. We're going to talk about her career tonight. But, you know, the artist management, I announced to the world today that we are starting Right Life Entertainment Group, which you guys live with me, so you know that's been coming. And Right On Publishing, Music House and Publishing. And the Music House and Publishing, the name is from, if you've ever texted me and they're like, hey, I'm going to be over in about an hour, I text back Right On with a W. That's my like signature. And but the Music House is
It's just a little bit cheesy, but
it's a little That's what it is. But the Music House is to do stuff like this, have fun, let people enjoy this. There's a lot of people sitting at home that live vicariously through people who chase dreams. And the thing is it's not all rainbows and Skittles. There's some heartache that go in this business. There's real life heartache.
yeah.
You know, we're in the middle of we just lost a dear friend of the music industry last week, and then, you know, I've got a dear friend fighting for his life right now, every breath he takes. One of my mentors. So, you know, everything you deal with in the real world, we deal with here. It just seems like all fun and games and that, but, you know, somebody in our circle is going to pack up and go home this month.
Yeah.
And
We have a lot of people that leave.
and somebody's going to show up,
Yeah.
and so you just never know.
Do you guys know who Marianne Kane is?
Name sounds familiar, but I don't know who it is.
She is the senior vice president. I lied. I don't want to screw up her title. I believe she's the senior VP of A&R with BMI, but I could be wrong. I know she's over A&R.
You said Marianne?
Yeah, Marianne Kane.
Oh, I've hung out with her like twice in the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know her last name.
Yeah. So we were sitting there, and she came out to one of Lance's summits. And one of the pieces of advice she gave us is don't leave. He said, you'll make it in this town if you just don't leave. Because the moment somebody above you leaves, there's a spot for you to climb. But if you don't wait for that spot to open, you're never going to advance. So if you just don't leave.
In this 10-year town, everybody eventually leaves. If you don't leave.
Yeah, as long as you just don't leave.
The 10-year town thing, I disagree. Because for me, it's a 14-year town. No,
Well, I think it totally
Laney is a
depends on the
12.
person. I think it depends on the person, and I think that a lot of times people's attention span expires around that time, and they're like, I've been doing this for this long, and I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't done anything. It's time to hang it up. I think that that's where people's mentality is when they decide that they don't want to do it anymore, and they end up leaving after the 10 years. And I think it's just a coincidence that so many people did that it got that title. But I don't think it has to be. And I think that there are a lot of people, obviously, who don't take it as a 10-year town.
I think when I say I think that it is. I think that I think there's some factors. Number one, talent, and your ability to learn. Number two, how quickly can you drop your ego and humble yourself and learn? Because everybody comes to this town, and they're name dropping. They're only listening, waiting for their turn to talk. Mm-hmm. And if you just sit down and listen, and what's funny is I'm known for being pretty outgoing and that type A personality. You see me in an environment where there's a learning opportunity, I'm usually the quietest person there. Mm-hmm. You know, let me sit in a room where Bobby Pinson's in the corner and talking and throwing out some knowledge, or Trent Tomlinson, and as much as me and him would joke around and this and that, I'm listening. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing. Humble yourself, learn from other people's mistakes, take the advice. And the thing is, everybody in this town is going to give you advice. I'll tell you, the most important thing I'll tell somebody out there as far as advice goes, when you're getting the advice, research who you're getting it from. Because there's a lot of dumbasses in this town that are quick to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And are you doing it? Have you done it?
Yeah.
Oh, I cringe when I hear somebody talking to one of my artists or somebody I care about, and they're pounding their chest and, you know, what you need to do. And I'm just like, you know.
Well, and you need to learn, but you also need to take it with a grain of salt, because there are people who are just trying to talk. And you got to know how to weed that out.
I see.
It comes down to when people say things, just because that thing worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I have seen many people are like, oh, it's really easy. You just got to do X, Y, and Z. And I mean, you'll drop off the thing into this person's lap and you'll do this. And it's like, yeah, that would never work for me because I don't know people over there like you did when you did all of that. Like, there's just so much behind what people are saying that just because somebody says it works doesn't mean it actually works.
Yeah.
I see that Carolyn Croker is on here, the birthday girl. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
She's only a year and a half older than me. That should spark a comment.
There's a couple of pieces of advice that I've gotten by a ton of different people, and a lot of times it's worded the same way. And one of them is that people listen with their eyes. Mm-hmm. I've heard that one a lot. I've heard that it's a 10-year town a lot. I've heard that if people stuck to the mentality that they had when they moved here for longer, they would actually make it. Mm-hmm. But they lose that mentality so quick because it's, oh, where's this money coming from? Where is this? But I've heard that from a couple of different people, that if they just kept that same mentality of why are you here, and they keep putting their head down, getting to write, and learning as much as they can from everybody else, that they would have made it. They would have been somewhere that they're not right now. Those are a couple of things that I took to heart, because when you hear it from so many different people, it seems to make more weight. If it's just one person telling you something, normally unless it's something that you never thought about before, you're not really going to even listen to it at all. Yeah. But if it's something that people keep repeatedly telling you, you're kind of like, well, maybe there's some truth to this one.
The thing that you just said, people listen with their eyes, and it's funny, Carolyn is on here, and one of the things Caitlin and I talked about before we even talked management, just when I was just giving her advice 6, 8, 10 months ago, is dress the part at all times. Mm-hmm. And
dress like an artist is another
dress
one.
Like an artist. Yep. It's everywhere you go. And Caitlin's on here, and she'll tell you, we agreed that when she goes to the grocery store and the dentist, I think was what we agreed, Caitlin, you don't have to dress up. Mm-hmm. I think the grocery store you still do. I'm just saying. You never. It depends on what neighborhood.
I was going to say,
there ain't too many producers in our neighborhood.
Because I have met some very famous people in the grocery store.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will say this: since I started shopping at Whole Foods, I definitely care more about what I look like when I leave.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, actually, now that I think about it, the very first time I met Brad Paisley was at the Opry Mills Mall, and I didn't know it was Brad Paisley.
He's getting that discount.
No, I didn't know it was Brad Paisley. He didn't look anything like Brad. Huh. He was in blue jeans, a sweatshirt, and a ball cap. His hood was up, and he was just walking. And I mean, I did a double take, and I stopped, and I looked, and I said, "Excuse me, are you?" And he smiled and said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, just really nice to meet you." I mean, it was like very early on me moving to town. And I was like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you." And he goes, "Yeah, you too." And I was like, "Holy crap." And he's like, "You want a photo?" And I said, "No, because the moment I do it, everybody in here is going to bum rush you." And he goes, "Well, I really appreciate that. You have a nice night." But I mean, I wouldn't have known. I just know what Brad looks like. Mm-hmm. But I would never have guessed in a million years.
It's easy to know when you got that poster above your bed, like Cody does.
Yeah.
It's
Not going to lie, Brad is one of my favorite artists of all time.
that's funny.
Oh, diehard Brad Paisley fan.
I had you sparked a funny story, and I can't think about what it was. But
Way to go.
going back to that image thing, though, who's the one guy that you know? We're gonna probably say the same name. The one guy that dresses the part everywhere he goes.
The one guy that dresses the part
that hasn't
everywhere.
made it yet, but he looks like a star everywhere he goes.
Jesse.
Jesse Johnson's pointing at himself as I'm staring at his butt crack on the producer chair. Our producer doubles as a plumber.
I actually don't know who you're referring to.
BTT.
Yep. Bobby Trentoy.
Oh,
Bobby
Yeah.
Trentoy walks into a room. You can see him a half mile away, and you know who it is.
yeah.
He probably has one of the best star quality images in town, and there's other parts of his game that need to catch up. Mm-hmm. He's working hard at it, but he's the example I use. Caitlin absolutely looks like a star everywhere she goes now.
Yeah.
Kendra, when Kendra walks into a room, takes a stage, she looks like Kendra. Mm-hmm. And that's Addison's same way. And you're building your brand, and the hardest part I think is figuring out what it is in the beginning.
Yeah.
But once you figure it out, you got to stick to it, and that's who you are. I think it's just as important as your sound. And you got to take care of yourself in this business. It's not fair,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, and it doesn't even necessarily matter what that image is, but you need to stick to, like, Chris Stapleton doesn't really have a really well put together image, but
He's got a well put together
Chris-
voice.
yeah, he's got an incredible voice. But my point is, even though his image isn't like clean cut, like this and that, you see him, that's Chris Stapleton. You know it's Chris Stapleton. Jelly Roll, you see him, you know it's Jelly Roll. Like, you can see that. You know what I mean?
Did you see that he's opening a bar?
Jelly Roll, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's literally across the street from Chiefs.
Oh, is that?
That's going to be Tatted Blonde. That tall one that's being built right now.
I think they switched it.
They switched it.
My mom's calling.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, we've been live for a while now. I think
we can end it.
we can end it. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you did tune in at all,
Yeah, I mean,
this is
this
the
is
first
kind
time
of
that we
like
did
a
this.
test everything out kind of moment.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing this a lot more on Music City Podcast, and
Oh, we have to change the name now.
yeah, and 3 writers, one couch, and so appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I hope that you guys come back and see us when we start doing this for real.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Peace.